Look at those graphics. What are my cookie glasses?
In making a drawing, you will often find it necessary to represent rather complicated details on the inside of an object. On this hub, for example, the stepped shape of the hole is important, but it cannot be seen clearly from the outside. An ordinary front view would show these details by dotted lines. This is undesirable because you want to represent the hub as clearly and directly as possible. To overcome this difficulty, you can adopt a conventional practice which makes the drawing easier to read. Imagine that you can pass a cutting plane through the object, and that this cutting plane cuts away half of the object so it can be removed, in your imagination, of course. Now, all the interior details can be seen clearly in a front view. Therefore, you can represent the cut object by the regular method of orthographic projection. The view is called a section, or sectional view. Select those parts of the object through which the cutting plane theoretically passed, and cross-hatch them with fine lines. Do not cross-hatch any parts beyond the cutting plane. Since the cut is only imaginary, show the top view in full as usual, but add a cutting plane line to indicate where the plane is supposed to pass, arrows to show the direction at which you look at the section, and reference letters to relate the cutting plane line to the sectional view. This particular section is called a full section because you imagine the cutting plane as passing all the way across the object. Remember that in making sectional views, as in other conventional practices, you adopt an arbitrary procedure in order to make the drawing clear. You can use the imaginary cutting plane in several ways. With some objects, you will need to show more interior details than one continuous cutting plane would reveal. That is, details on more than one plane inside the object. Here, for example, a section taken on one plane would not show both holes. Therefore, imagine a cutting plane which is offset so that it will reveal all the details you want to see. Now both the holes show clearly in the front view. In constructing the drawing, project the front view as usual, but do not indicate the offset because it is imaginary. Project the top view as usual and show by the cutting plane line how the cutting plane is offset. A view like this is also called a full section. Occasionally, it may be desirable to show details on both the outside and the inside of the object in the same view. With a symmetrical piece like this, it is possible to extend the cutting plane only halfway through the object to the center, and think of only 1/4 of the object as being cut away. This procedure creates a half section which does reveal both the outside and the inside of the object in one view. A half section is rather difficult to dimension, but it is acceptable if needed. Use a center line through the view showing the half section, but not an edge line. There is no edge because the cut is imaginary and the object is still round and full. Show the cutting plane as usual on the other view. Half sections are not found as often as full sections, but they may be useful. With certain objects, you may want to show some interior detail, like the hole in the threaded end of this bolt, without drawing a full or half section. through the bolt lengthwise, and the part in front of the cutting plane as being broken out and removed to show the details inside. Project the view as usual and draw an irregular line to indicate the break. This type of section is called a broken out section. You can omit the cutting plane line because it is obvious where the cut was made. If you simply want to show the shape of some detail of construction, like a rib or the arm of a wheel, and don't want to make a full or broken out section, think of the cutting plane as passing perpendicular to the axis of the part to be sectioned, and the section thus made as revolving or turning up into the plane of the view. Then project the view and the part revolved, but omit the cutting plane line. When the sectional view can be contained in the drawing like this, it is called a revolved section. If the proportions of the object are different, however, more space may be needed to show the section itself or to add dimensions. In this case, imagine that you can revolve the section and then move it to one side. Construct the drawing and add a cutting plane line to show where the section was taken. Call this type of sectional view a removed section. Sometimes you need a sectional view from an auxiliary position. If you were drawing this block, for example, you could not use the front, side, or top views, full or in section, to show the step inside in its true shape, because this detail does not show in true shape in any of the principal planes of projection.